So you can see here I am on my demo page and everything's ready to go. So let's add some additional pages to our Data Studio project where we can go into a deeper dive of 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade data. To do that, let's click Add a Page. When you do this, it will show you now on the left-hand side from this toolbar here that I'm on the second page in my project, and you can see that both of these pages are untitled. So to title them, I'm just going to click the three dots and select Rename, and I'm going to call this the Gold Hill Middle School Reading Dashboard. And then this second page here, I'm going to click three dots, Rename, and I will call this the 6th grade Reading Dashboard. So now that I have my pages renamed here on the second page, I'm ready to go ahead and start customizing this to set my theme up and set all the data in there that I would wish to add. So you can see on my 6th grade page that I went ahead and added in one of my images that I had already saved on my device, and then I added just a quick shape as a background here and added some text on here. So this is going to be kind of my default page that I'm going to use, and then I will eventually duplicate for 7th and 8th grade once I have it configured exactly how I want. The first thing I would like to add on here is a scorecard that's going to show the total number of books read by 6th graders. So to do that, I'm going to select Insert and then Scorecard. And we'll click to place this onto my project here. So I really quickly want to check once this has been on here that it's connected to the correct data source, which it is, my 6th grade data source. If it wasn't, I can remove it, click Select Data Source, and then grab that correct spreadsheet we've already linked in here. And then for my metric count over here, what I want to add from my available fields is my total number of books. So now I have a scorecard that is going to show me the total number of books read by 6th grade. And then I can customize that style to make it exactly how I would like it to look. Perfect. Now that I have my total number of books scorecard for 6th grade, I'm going to select this item, copy it, and then paste it because I would like another scorecard right below it. But for this scorecard, instead of having the total number of books read, I would like to have the total number of pages read. So let's go ahead and put that in there. And you'll notice Data Studio is so smart that when I added this metric here of the number of pages, it automatically converted it to the sum. So if I click this pencil here and edit that, you'll notice that it recognized it was a num and it's the sum of the total number of pages read. Now let's add two controls that we can use to filter all of the data on the 6th grade page. To add a control, select Add a Control, and we're going to choose a drop-down list. Place it on your Data Studio board, and you'll notice it pulled in from my 6th grade data source. It has a date range on there, but the control field here now is team. I would like to change that to homeroom teacher. So I'm going to select homeroom teacher, modify my style really quickly. And once I have this set up exactly how I want, we are going to copy that button. Just make sure I have everything exactly how I want. Let's make this ascending so it's alphabetical by last name here. Perfect. And once I have this configured properly, I'm going to copy and paste that control again because now I want to break it down even further and I want to grab the ELA teacher. So I'm going to change my control field here now to ELA teacher, and I will also make sure that that's descending so it's alphabetical by last name as well. Let's start visualizing some data on here. We can do that by inserting some charts. You can do that from the Insert menu. And let's start by creating a column chart, and we're going to put this under the ELA Teacher Leaderboard. Once you have that chart on there, oh my goodness, it is already kind of recognizing what I wanted to do. My data source is 6th grade. I have my dimension as ELA teachers, which is what I want, but I don't want my metric to be the number of pages. I want it to actually be the record count. So I'm just going to click over here and find a record count. And now I can see from each of these classes the exact number of times that teacher's name was inserted or inputted into the Google form, thus proving how many books were read in that classroom. So now that I have one chart created, let's add a homeroom teacher leaderboard. So let's click Insert, and this time let's go with a pie chart. Put that underneath my homeroom teacher leaderboard, and let's see how we did here. Okay, I have my homeroom teacher leaderboard. Ooh, my dimensions ELA teacher, so let's change that to homeroom teacher. And I have a record count. So that's going to be, again, how many times each homeroom teacher's name was inputted on that form. And then the last chart I'd like to add is my team leaderboard. So from Insert, let's go back to a column chart over here. And from my team leaderboard, I will check my data source, which is correct. And my dimension for this time, I need it to be the team. So I'm going to change my dimension here to team. And I have my record count. Now, like all other objects in Data Studio, you can then go to Style to customize how you would like this to look. The last section on my 6th grade Data Studio dashboard here will include my genre leaderboard, where the students got their books, and my author leaderboard. So I'm going to insert some more charts on here. So let's start with a pie chart. Insert pie chart under my genre leaderboard. Go ahead and resize that. Verify my data source is 6th grade, and this time my dimension is going to be my genre with a record count. Then I'm going to insert another chart, but this time a column chart of where did you get your book. My 6th grade data source, but my genre is, or my dimension is genre here, so I need to change that to where did you get your book. And verify that it's under a record count as well for the metric. And then the last piece of data that I'd like to add here is my author leaderboard. And for this one, I actually want to insert a table. So let's go to Insert Table. And for this author leaderboard, what I want to make sure is that my dimension is author. My metric is record count. I want to make sure I remove the other dimension on here. And then I want to scroll down, and you can choose to make this ascending or descending. But the other style that I want to make sure I add to this is I want to take off the row numbers here. So we're going to scroll down and make sure row numbers is not selected. And that way my data is nice and clean. And another thing I like to do is kind of add these alternating colors here. I think sometimes it can help it just stand out a little bit better. So I think sometimes it's helpful to kind of go in here and just kind of customize your table for readability. Now, another thing to consider when you're working on your style here is just like any other spreadsheet, you can resize your columns. So that you can make sure that your table fits in here and that you can read everything. All right, let's click the View button and take a look. So I have my reading dashboard and then my 6th grade page. Let me go ahead and hide that and verify my 6th grade page here with all of my default data. And then I can, if I want to, filter it by using the controls, deselect all of the homeroom teachers and only select one teacher's name. And now my Data Studio dashboard here aligns to just this one teacher's, how many books they've read, how many pages, and all of this information is specific to just this homeroom teacher. Another feature you have is the ELA control, and I can select just the ELA teacher to see this ELA teacher's classroom data on here as well. So I have my 6th grade page completely done and ready to go. Now I just need to copy it and modify it for 7th and 8th grade. So now that I have one page completely ready to go, I'm going to use it sort of like a template for my 7th and 8th grade pages. So I just want to start by duplicating the page. To do so, I'll click from the page menu And then I'm going to select Manage Pages. This opens the Report Pages menu on the right-hand side, and from the three dots beside 6th grade reading dashboard, I'm going to select Duplicate. This makes a copy of that page. It's now on page 3 here, and I'm going to rename this, and I am going to call it 7th grade. And I'm going to do that one more time while I'm in here and go ahead and get my 8th grade page set up as well. So now let's navigate back to the 7th grade page here. So page 3 will be my 7th grade page, and I'm going to begin by replacing my image and adding my image from my computer for my 7th grade button. Now, one of the best things about Data Studio is how easy it is to quickly reconfigure all of the data. So I'm going to skip over this first section for now. We'll come back to that here in a minute. And let me show you how to quickly modify each of these different charts here on the 7th grade dashboard. So I am just going to hold down the control button and select each of these charts. I know all 3 of them are selected because now it says 3 components have been selected. And under data source, this is my 7th grade page and it's still linking back to my 6th grade data. So let's remove that data source. Click Select Data Source and choose 7th grade. Now, those are all aligned with my 7th grade data. So easy. I'm going to do the same thing for my tables on the bottom. Hold down the Control button and select all 3 of those. So all 3 components are selected. Remove my 6th grade data source, select a data source, and choose my 7th grade data source. So all of my data on this page so far is now 7th grade data, except for my items up here at the top. So let's configure the controls. For the homeroom, I will select this, and then for data source, I will remove that data source, select my data source, and choose 7th grade. Then, under ELA teacher, I will do the same. Remove the 6th grade data source, select, and choose 7th grade. For my number of pages, I will select my scorecard, remove the 6th grade data source, select and choose 7th grade. And then I saved this total number of books options for last because for my 6th grade data source, I actually made a custom field here for the total number of books read, and I didn't make that field for 7th grade. Now, if you did, you can go ahead and use that field, but for mine, I have to go ahead and reconfigure this just a little bit. So I'm going to delete the 6th grade data source, add the 7th grade data source, and notice I'm trying to get the total number of books read. So I'm just going to pull in that timestamp, and that timestamp is going to give me a count of the total number of books read. Now, if I want to, I can go in and remove the label on here so that you can't see that it says timestamp on there, and I can configure this with a text box to make that label go away. So now that my 7th grade page is done and ready to go, I'll just hop over to my 8th grade page and I'll configure it the exact same way. So I'll just select the number of books that are read, change it from 7th grade to 8th grade. From the number of pages, change it from 7th grade to 8th grade. The homeroom teachers will also need to be changed to 8th grade. So you can see each time I'm just selecting the object and then I'm just changing the data source. And you can do that by selecting each individual item like I am in this video section, or you can hold down the control button and select multiple objects and configure the data sources at that time for each of them. And the last thing I'm missing on this page is my updated image for 8th grade. Now, one thing I noticed on this page is when I inserted my pie chart here, my colors changed. So I can configure that from the Style menu by going to the Style, and then you can see I have the ability. You can change the color by single color or slice order. So I'm just going to change it to slice order, so that way that it better aligns with my theme. So let's click View now and check it all out. I have all 4 of my pages with my Gold Hill Middle School reading dashboard here with my information for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And then I have my sub pages that break down the data for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, all of which is filterable by their homeroom teacher or by their ELA teacher. So thanks for joining me for this tutorial. If you have any more lingering questions about using Data Studio, feel free to reach out to me, or in Data Studio, feel free to hit the help options so that you are able to explore the Google support page and all the different resources available for you. I can't wait to see what you design.